Girard. We are awaiting the great Michael Paul Girard.
Oh my
God.
Hi, Kimbra. Hi, Kellie.
Hi. Oh, I like the mask.
Yeah, I was just outside, so I had to make sure I had my mask on.
So mysterious.
Look at you. I was going to say you cut your hair, but it's up.
Yeah, it's a little hot today. Have you noticed?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot here too.
How are you? I'm so glad you could make it to our.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yay.
Michael Paul Girard.
He's done a lot of different movies, but the newest one, Gam Cam Girl. So Kimbra pointed me to your website, and I got on your website, and then it sent me to the website for the Gam Cam Girl, and I didn't know that all of these awards were just for that one movie. So you've got awards from all over the world.
Yeah, this was actually the first film I ever did that I entered into film festivals.
Okay.
So that was a new experience. It won a few awards.
16. I'm counting them right now. 17. I think I missed one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 17 awards. Wow.
Yeah, they were for lots of different things. Danny Savka won Best Actress in the London Festival, and we got a couple Audience Award, Best Pictures, and Best Production Design, and Jaya won Best Costume Design at the Golden State.
I see that.
Yeah.
Best feature film.
She also did these. She did the masks for the film too.
Really?
That wasn't from the film, huh?
His daughter Jaya is very talented, and I've had the pleasure of working with her a couple times.
Wow. So what's the synopsis of the movie? What's the genre?
If you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, well, I spoke with Sarah, a fellow actress
who's also in the movie.
Yes, and let's see, what did Miss Sarah have to say? Sarah Beware, that is. Michael Paul Girard's Gam Cam Girl takes us on a trip around the world after the chance meeting of an aspiring comedian and a man with a past. We follow the sex and money from LA to New York and China in this narrative as entertaining as it is provocative.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, shout out to Sarah Beware.
Sarah in Texas right now.
Yeah, right. She's living it up in Texas. Yeehaw! But so Michael, first of all, before we get into the movie really quickly, I just want to say Michael is a true Renaissance man. I was thinking about this morning when I was walking on my little walk, and I thought that's what makes you such an interesting person. I feel like as a filmmaker, because you started off in music, right? Did you start off being
I started playing the piano when I was about 7. Yeah.
Wow, he's a really talented pianist. He used to work for the circus. What circus was that they used to?
Circus Flora in St. Louis. I was the keyboard player there for many years, up on the bandstand. That was a great gig. And
you loved it. You used to go away.
All circuses are pretty much canceled right now during the pandemic. As any live theater in the Metropolitan Opera in New York, and on down the list. We're all doing these little Zoom things. Even film festivals. Most of the film festivals that I entered that were going on in the spring and the summer have been pushed into the fall. Even though the film is now, we got a distribution deal with Indie Rights, and they have it on Amazon Prime and Google Play and places like that. You can watch it. The film festivals, we got into the Switzerland International Film Festival in May, and they ended up having to do it online, of course, which is not the same experience as traveling to Switzerland and going in a theater with a bunch of people and all that.
Right.
I miss it, and I hope it gets back up and going soon. Maybe in the fall there will be some in Europe, and we still have some that the film was entered into because. Of course, nobody, knew the pandemic was coming, but, I entered a bunch of film festivals that were supposed to happen in the summer and stuff that were pushed in the fall. So hopefully we'll get into 1 or 2 of those, and we'll be able to go, play it in the theater a few more times.
Yes, but before the movie, I was going to go on and say that you've done a lot of stage work, and you've done a lot of really interesting plays and musicals, right? Right.
Yeah, actually. I wrote some musical theater pieces. That's actually how I met Kimbra many years ago. That through our mutual friend Sherry Robb.
Who's a
got
great
us in
manager.
touch.
She manages writers.
Yeah, yeah. And she was
actors.
managing you at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I actually met her because she cast one of the witchcraft movies that I did back then. And so that's how Kimbra and I met. She was in a stage reading that we did of The Queen's Privy, which at that time was a play, and then I turned it into a musical. And so now I'm thinking of maybe doing that as a episodic television, series, streaming series, whatever. That's kind of where I'm thinking about.
Yeah, that's a great project.
So we'll see how things pan out here in the next 6 months in the entertainment business. Right now, everything is shut down. So.
Yeah. So you were out of making movies you took a short sabbatical, and you were kind of recharging your batteries for a while, it seemed like. What made you decide to get back into making Gam Cam Girl, like all on your own? What led you down that road?
Well, yeah, I was just, doing the day job thing and making money and paying the rent and all that sort of thing. While I was doing the musicals, which of course, no one was paying me any money to do the musicals. I did get some plays and musicals in some festivals in New York, during that time. But of course, nobody gives you money for that. If anything, you have to
pay them.
Productions. Yeah, exactly. So, just the technology changed, and all of a sudden you didn't need a lot of money to make a low budget film. You could make a film with the technology, with your phone if you needed to, and edit on your laptop. You could make a film that you could play in the theater, And so I had acquired all these skills over the years and learned from a lot of DPs and things like that, and post sound people. So I knew how to use Pro Tools. I knew how to edit. I was an editor and all that stuff. So I just said, I'm going to.
Not to interrupt, but he's a great editor. He's edited projects for me, music projects.
I think what people would be interested to know is, the process. So you decide you're going to do this film, so you wrote it, you edited it. What else did you?
Right. Well, around 2015, I did a rewrite on a novel that I wrote before, and it was just got so into that. And the novel is just such a great art form because there's no limitations. And so I started writing another novel, and that was actually how Gam Cam Girl started. But then as I got into writing it just, the visual elements of it became so predominant and essential that it seemed to lend itself more to a film than a novel. Even though in the novel I got into all kinds of backstory and what the characters are thinking and all the things that you can do in a novel. But it just wanted to be visual. And so, and the story originally took place in New York. But then, of course, when I got down into the nuts and bolts of figuring out how to shoot this, even if I was going to do it with an iPhone or whatever, I still had to, go to New York, and I didn't live there. And so, but then I woke up one morning and realized, wow, I don't have to have this happen in New York. It can happen in LA. So I just transposed all the elements that, Brooklyn became like Palms area of Los Angeles, and the Expo line became like the L train subway in New York. And, I just transposed everything. The only thing I couldn't transpose was New Year's Eve in Times Square, because that's a universal thing that's known around the world. And to have that happen in LA does not have the same impact as Times Square. So I just figured out a way to just me and the lead actress, Danny Savka, flew to New York, and we stayed at my friend Dorothy's house there in Manhattan. And we were there for 2 days and shot all the Times Square stuff, all the Central Park stuff, all the, stuff around the city. And it was great, but getting back to the process, yeah. So you write a script, of course, first, and then I had to cast it, and I did most of my casting through Backstage West, which is an online thing where you go and look at all these actors and you put in like what you're looking for. And I needed like a couple Asian actors who spoke fluent English and Mandarin, which is kind of a tough call. And but I found them, and so and then I was kind of under a time constraint of my own because I wanted to shoot it during the time that the story took place, which is right around starts the day after Christmas of 2017, and of course goes through New Year's Eve 2018, and then the little thing at the end is on Valentine's Day 6 weeks later. And I'm not really giving away the story by saying that. But, I had to shoot it during that time, so I couldn't just say, "Oh, I'll just put it off. I'll put it off." I, launched into it when I had the basic actors that I needed for the lead roles. So.
Tell us the story about the little dog.
Oh, the dog.
Oh, yeah. Dog.
So Heidi, who plays Shane's mother in the film, and Shane is the lead actor. That was the first scene. That was the first scenes that we shot. Was all of Heidi's scenes in 2 days. And so I'd never met Heidi before. I cast her over the internet. She was great. She was perfect for the role. And so the day before we started shooting, she called me up. She says, like, "Oh, my neighbor just asked me to take care of her dog, her little dog, and can I bring it to the set tomorrow?" And of course, the set's my apartment, and I didn't have a crew. It was just me. I'm running the camera and the sound, and so it's me and the two actors. I said, "Yeah, sure, bring the dog." And originally I'd written the dog into the script, but when I got close to production, you start whittling away things that are your dream ideas. Oh yeah, this would be great to have them have a dog, but then I don't have a dog, and
right.
I'm not gonna go to the pound and get a dog just for the film. So here is this dog, like a baby in a bulrush basket on my doorstep, and this dog was great.
Aww.
I mean, just this dog like became part of the movie, and
the mascot and
hit
the
its
movie
marks and didn't complain about the food or whatever.
Wasn't
it
a
was
diva?
great. We got really lucky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you know how they always say don't do scenes with animals and small children, so they
because they'll upstage you. Sure.
Yeah.
They'll steal the scene. As this dog, is really endearing. We were so lucky, and during the whole shoot, you have to have a lot of luck if you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, and speaking of money, I was going to say to everyone that Michael made this movie for just over $20,000. Was that what it was?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, it's all credit card debt. So
yeah, and he paid all the actors. He edited it.
Not much, but I paid.
Yeah, we did get paid though. And then let's see what else you actually learned how to colorize yourself. You were talking.
Yeah,
about
there were a lot of things that, like I said, I had to shoot it during that time frame, so I just launched into it, and I shot all this green screen stuff, and I didn't know how to do compositing. I was going to pay to have someone do the color grading because that's really important, and I knew nothing about it. And I know that it's a real skill and an art. So then, so I shot all the stuff, with the green screen things, and then so I had to put in the stuff that's supposed to be there. So I just got out my computer and went to YouTube and just typed in how do you do compositing on.
He's a true YouTuber.
Yeah. How do you do compositing on? What did I use? DaVinci Resolve.
Is that the editing?
You'd have all these people who have their little tutorials up there, and I just followed them. And DaVinci Resolve, by the way, is a free editing system that you can download the free version, which I actually did this movie with the free version. And so then, luckily, that's what major studios and everyone uses to do color grading. So when I was done and with the film and was ready to do color grading, I called around and saw how much money it cost, and I didn't have the money and I didn't want to go further into debt. I just did the same thing because I had more confidence having done the compositing, learned that way. How do you do color grading on DaVinci Resolve? And I just watched all these, YouTube tutorials and just learned as I went along. I mean, I of course didn't do as great a job as a real colorist could have done. But it is a comedy, and so a comedy, it's more important that people are engaged with the characters and it's
And they're
funny,
funny.
and whatever, rather than, oh, that's a great colorized scene, you know, or this is Lawrence of Arabia or whatever.
And I got to say though, when the first screening I went to, I believe it was in West LA, the West LA Film
Oh yeah,
Festival.
the Cinemark there.
Cinemark,
the
yeah.
Howard Hughes Center, right?
The Howard Hughes Center. What the first screening that I went to of it, I was amazed when it first came up. I said, wow, this is like, you know, $2 million looking project, which would be low budget anyway, but it looks so, the production value was so amazing for the money that you spent.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah,
Michael?
the when you do a green screen stuff, of course you can just create whatever the background is there, and so I, you know, put in all kinds of stuff that I would have never been able to afford, like her penthouse, you know, Cammie's penthouse there at the end. That was all created from all kinds of different stuff. And,
Wow.
but yeah, it's so much better to see the film on the big screen than, you know, on a computer or on a television screen. So that's why I'm so glad that that we went the film festival route, even though, you know, it was like a year and a half or so that, you know, before like going into distribution, you know, just to be able to experience that on the big screen with the great sound system and all that stuff.
And now you have a distribution deal. And
yeah, we signed with Indie Rights in May, and then they put it up on Amazon Prime and Amazon Prime UK and Google Play and Tubi and some of the other online platforms, so people can start seeing it now. And then of course it's gonna, you know, expand out through other parts of the world. And actually I just finished the Spanish subtitles, so hopefully it'll start being released in Spanish speaking countries too.
But isn't it amazing the difference of how you distribute a film now as to when you first started doing
Yeah. The first film I did, Rugsuckers, Oversex Rugsuckers from Mars.
Try saying that 5 times. Try saying that 5 times.
Yeah. You know, I shot on Super 8 film and cut with a razor blade on a worker splicer.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I went around to distributors then and said, I have this film. And of course, then it was hard to make a film. And so anyone who had a complete film, they would at least look at it. And so then that I actually got a distribution deal with Vista Street. And then that started that actually started my, you know, filmmaker career, because then the next film I did, Getting Lucky, with them, you know, they paid for everything. And all of a sudden I was on a set with a crew, and I didn't know how the division of labor worked, because the first film I did just like I did Kimbra. I did everything to film, you know, the camera and sound and lights and all that stuff. So all of a sudden I had a DP and I had an assistant camera, and then you had to load film cans, you know, I had someone did that, and the sound person, a makeup person, and grips and PAs and all that stuff. So I kind of like just learned on the job as far as what everybody did. You know.
So you've done it all different ways. You did it, you know, on your own back in the old days. You did it by yourself with a crew. Now you're doing it in the modern way, I guess, by yourself.
Modern way, but kind of back to square one. I learned so much from working with all those people, all those DPs, the editors, the sound designers and stuff. You know, I would not just say, oh, here it is, do this. I would like sit like Mike Draghi, who did a lot of the sound design on those early films. You know, I was in there with the studio because I come from a musical background. I usually did the music for most of my films. Collaborated a couple of times with Miriam Cutler, who is a really fine composer in town, on some of them. And but I was in there every day in the studio because I loved it. You know, I loved learning how to do Foley, and so he would, you know, he taught me how to be a Foley artist. You know, and
oh wow, that's great.
Yeah. So I would he taught me how to walk the picture. You know, so I would do like the footsteps and stuff, and like we had something where like somebody crashed a shopping cart against a telephone pole, and we didn't have production sound that worked for that. So he like said, I'm gonna think. And he came back the next day with 2 of the things you put in your oven, you know, the grates that you pull out.
Right.
You got 2 of those and just hit them both together, and that was the perfect sound, you know.
Wow. Huh. So it's fascinating that you've done all of this. And, you know, Kimbra's been talking about you forever. telling me
You
how
got to meet Michael. You got to meet Michael.
yeah, she just told me, you do the music. So just to summarize, in case somebody is out there wanting to do their own movie, and now
Right.
it's, so much easier, I say easier in quotes. So you write the story in the script,
Right.
and you
Right,
hire
that's
the
square
actors.
one.
Oh, you have to do the storyboard, right? We forgot about that.
Well, that's an optional thing. The storyboard is part of directing, and I like to do storyboards only because, especially if you're shooting yourself,
Okay.
you know where the locate. Once you establish what the locations are, you know the limitations of those. Then you can have the storyboard so you don't mess up eye lines and camera direction and things like that, which is easy to do, especially if you're rushed. To know that the character should be looking, camera left here and camera right there. And if you mess it up, then it won't cut, and so storyboarding is
you filmed with one camera, right? You had one camera. You filmed with one camera.
Yeah.
So you did the scene.
Well, I used some iPhone stuff and things like that too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a one-man crew.
So edit.
I got the crew sometimes, like when we shot all the comedy club stuff. I actually had some of the cast members, like hold the boom, while I was operating camera, because I had several cast people there for the shoot the nightclub stuff, and actually the actors were very helpful in realizing it's just a one man, and I told them that from the beginning, even when I contacted these people through Backstage West, I said, it's just going to be, most of the time, just going to be me and the actors.
Uh-huh.
So they wouldn't come expecting this big crew and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
So it'd actually be pretty, it might be easier to shoot a film like it now with the social distancing, just.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's amazing. And I'm very impressed at all these awards you've won.
I was surprised. And like I said, I'd never done film festivals before. So the very first one we got into, which was our premiere, the Silicon Beach Festival, and that was the one at the Cinemark. We did it there, and then they have an awards ceremony right at the end. And so they're handing out the awards, and all of a sudden they called Cam Girl for Best Production Design. I go, wow, so I went up and got the award. And I was there with Danny Savka, the lead actress, and then all of a sudden, towards the end, they called out Cam Girl again for Audience Award, Best Picture, Best Feature, and I was surprised when we went up there and did the photos with the award and all that stuff like that. Yeah. But I didn't realize at that time how rare that was.
Yeah.
That was my first.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. I didn't realize, that was a big deal to get an award like that, to have the laurel to put on your poster. Yeah. So that's a poster back there, actually.
Well, I want to, for the people that are listening, because we're doing the podcast and we've got an audio version. I want to share the website. So if somebody wants to go and learn more about the movie and see the awards, or also purchase a copy of the movie, it's GAMCAMGRRL.com.
Those are 3 words. Cam Girl.
Well, it's all.
for the movie. Sorry, you're right. Sorry.
On the for the website again. GAMCAMGRRL.com. So if anybody wants to go and check it out, it's pretty impressive. It's won a lot of awards. So.
And if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at GAM_CAM_girl, GRRL. That's the Instagram handle. So.
And you can also see it on Amazon Prime, and is it Google Play? Is that what it's called? Google Play?
Google Play. I haven't seen it there yet, but I'd like to.
But we heard that it's there.
Yeah. I see it. Yeah, it's listed there in their online stuff. So.
And if somebody wants to know more about you, MichaelPaulGirard.com, MichaelPaulGirard.com.
That's right.
Michael Paul Girard. So
those are 3 names too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So very impressive. I'm really glad that I got to meet you digitally, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you both for having me on.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
so
We're going to be cheering you on.
yeah,
And
thanks,
you're,
Michael.
Kelly, you're in Wyoming, right?
I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to play in rock bands up in Wyoming, Laramie and Cheyenne and Casper and.
Yeah, that's how I ended up here. My sister lives in Laramie. I went to visit her, and I like it. I was just looking to get away from the rat race for a while. So here
Yeah, it's actually beautiful.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But
I'll see you when I get back to Los Angeles. So.
Oh, okay, great. I
Yeah.
look forward to it. Hopefully
We'll
then
go-
we'll be out of masks then. Yeah.
Yes, and we'll be going to some other film festival together. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Michael. I'll be talking to
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Okay, I'll put my mask
Bye-bye.
back on and I can head back out there into the wilderness.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Let us know.
Bye.
I'll be in the comments section. Tell us what
Yes.
you think.
Please, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us know. Bye.
All right. Bye.